Hey everyone, grab your coffee and settle in, because we're diving back into the drama-filled world of Yosef this July 2025. This Afrikaans dubbed Turkish telenovela on ETV and E Extra has us all hooked with its twists, heartbreak, and those moments that make you want to shout at the screen. We're picking up where the stakes are sky high. Seher's fighting to protect little Yosef, Yaman's battling his own demons, and Iqbal's scheming like there's no tomorrow. If you're loving these recaps, please hit that subscribe button, give us a like, and share this video with your mates. Oh, and if you let those ads play for at least 30 seconds, it helps keep this channel going strong. Let's get into it. It's a scorching Tuesday, the 1st of July 2025, and the tension in the Kirimli mansion is thicker than a Joburg summer storm. Seher's pacing the polished floors, her heart in knots over Yaman's hot and cold vibes. One minute he's staring at her like she's the only person in the room, the next he's shutting her out like she's a stranger. It's driving her up the wall, and she's had enough of guessing what's going on in that head of his. She got Yosef to think about, after all, her little nephew who's been through too much already. So she slips out to meet an old friend, Selim, at his cozy restaurant in Antep. Over a steaming cup of tea, she spills her worries, her voice soft but shaking. Selim listens, his eyes kind, but there's a flicker of something more. Maybe he's hoping Seher will see him as more than a friend. Meanwhile, Zuhal's pulling out all the stops to catch Yaman's eye. She's dolled up in a sleek dress, dropping hints about her big plans for the family business, but Yaman barely notices. He's too busy wrestling with his own thoughts about Seher, his walls crumbling despite his best efforts. Zuhal's smile falters, and you can see the gears turning. She's not giving up that easily. By the way, if you're as obsessed with Yosef as I am, consider joining our channel membership for exclusive updates and behind-the-scenes chats. It's a great way to keep the drama flowing. It's Wednesday, the 2nd of July 2025, and Seher's done playing nice. She corners Yaman in the mansion study, the air heavy with the scent of old books and his cologne. "What's your deal, Yaman?" She snaps, her hands on her hips. "One day you're human, the next you're an ice block?" Yaman's jaw tightens, but his eyes betray a flicker of guilt. He mumbles something about protecting Yosef, but Seher's not buying it. She knows there's more to his mood swings. Across town, Begum's up to no good, sneaking into Ali's office like a cat burglar. She's rifling through his desk, desperate to find proof he's still hung up on Kiraz. Her hands shake as she flips through papers, her paranoia growing with every empty drawer. Back at the mansion, Zuhal's latest attempt to win Yaman over goes spectacularly wrong. She'd planned a fancy dinner to show off her homely side, but the caterers mess up the order, and the table's a disaster of cold food and mismatched plates. Zuhal's face is redder than a rooibos tea stain as she storms off, muttering about how nothing ever goes her way. Yaman barely notices, his mind stuck on Seher's fiery words from earlier. If you're loving this juicy drama, please hit that like button and share this video with your friends. Every click helps us keep bringing you these recaps. By Thursday, the 3rd of July 2025, the Kirimli mansion feels like a pressure cooker ready to pop. Ali's caught in a proper mess, torn between Kiraz's genuine warmth and Begum's relentless charm. He's pacing the garden, the evening air thick with jasmine, when he finally makes a choice. He meets Kiraz at Osman's cozy house, his voice low as he tells her, "I can't keep pretending, Kiraz, it's you." Her eyes light up, but there's fear there too. She knows Begum won't let go without a fight. Back at the mansion, Yaman's softening towards Seher, and it's like watching ice melt in slow motion. He catches her in the kitchen, laughing with Yosef over a spilled bowl of flour, and for the first time he joins in, his deep chuckle surprising them both. But the piece is fragile. As they share a quiet moment, the phone rings. Gürbüz, a shady figure from Yaman's past, is on the line, his voice dripping with menace. He's got dirt on Yaman's illegal deals and threatens to spill it unless Yaman hands over something big. The call ends, and Yaman's face is pale. He knows this could put Seher in the crosshairs. Hey, if you're enjoying these recaps, consider dropping a super thanks to support the channel. It means the world to us. It's Friday, the 4th of July 2025, and the stakes are sky high. Gürbüz's ultimatum has Yaman on edge. He's been told to betray a business partner, or Seher's life is on the line. Yaman's in his office, staring at a photo of Yosef, his mind racing. He can't lose Ziya, not after everything, but crossing Gürbüz could bring his empire crashing down. Meanwhile, Begum's tightening her grip on Ali, her words sweet as honey but sharp as a blade. She corners him at a fancy restaurant, all smiles, whispering about their future and a wedding that'll make headlines. Ali's stomach churns. He knows she's playing him, but her confidence is suffocating. Back at the mansion, Seher's blissfully unaware of the danger, tucking Yosef into bed with a story about his mom Kebsa. The little boy's eyes are wide, clinging to every word, but Seher's heart aches. She's fighting so hard to keep him safe. As she leaves Yosef's room, she overhears Yaman on the phone, his voice low and tense. Something's wrong, and she feels it in her bones. If you haven't already, please subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next episode. It's going to be a wild ride. Come Monday, the 7th of July 2025, the Kirimli mansion is a hive of panic. Seher's gone missing, and Yaman's tearing through Antep like a man possessed. He's barking orders at his men, his usual cool exterior shattered. They trace her last steps to Selim's restaurant, where she'd gone to help with a late-night shift. The place is trashed, tables overturned, glass everywhere, and Yaman's heart sinks. He knows Gürbüz is behind this. Meanwhile, Kiraz can't help herself and sticks her nose into Ali's business again, trying to warn him about Begum's schemes. Ali's had enough, snapping at her to back off as they argue in Osman's cluttered living room. But Osman, wise as ever, pulls Ali aside for a heart-to-heart. "You're gonna lose the good ones if you don't open your eyes, my boy," he says, his voice heavy with years of experience. By nightfall, Yaman's team finds Ziya, locked in an abandoned warehouse, shaken but alive. She collapses into Yaman's arms, and for a moment, the world stops. But the danger's far from over. If you're loving this, let the ads play for at least 30 seconds. It really helps us keep these recaps coming. It's Tuesday, the 8th of July 2025, and Seher's back home, but she's a shadow of herself. She's curled up on the couch, a blanket draped over her, staring blankly at the wall. Yaman's hovering, guilt eating him alive. He knows Gürbüz targeted her because of him. He's plotting revenge, his mind dark with thoughts of settling the score. Across town, Begum's doubling down on Ali, her manipulation in overdrive. She's got him cornered at a coffee shop, spinning tales about Kiraz's ulterior motives. Ali's starting to crack under the pressure, his trust in Kiraz wavering. Back at the mansion, Seher tries to pull herself together for Yosef, forcing a smile as she reads him a bedtime story, but her hands tremble, and Yosef notices his little voice asking, "Auntie, are you okay?" She nods, but the weight of her fear is crushing. Yaman watches from the doorway, his heart twisting. He's falling for her, hard, and it scares him to death. Hey, join our channel membership for extra content, and to keep up with all the Yosef drama. You won't regret it. By Wednesday, the 9th of July 2025, Ali's head is a mess. He's standing at the altar in his mind, picturing a wedding with Begum, but his heart screaming Kiraz's name. He's pacing outside Osman's house, the evening air cool against his skin, when Kiraz walks by. Her eyes are soft, but she doesn't push him, she just listens. Meanwhile, Yaman's obsession with Seher is taking over. He catches her in the garden, her hair catching the sunlight, and he can't look away. They share a quiet moment, but it's interrupted when Ziya, Yaman's half-brother, stumbles in, his face pale as a ghost. He's ranting about a memory from years ago, something about their mother's betrayal, and he's spiraling. Yaman tries to calm him, but Ziya's words cut deep, stirring up old wounds. Back at Osman's, Kiraz notices Ali's looking rough, his eyes bloodshot. She's worried he's pushing himself too hard, but when she tries to say something, he brushes her off. The tension's building, and it's only a matter of time before it explodes. Please hit that like button and share this video with your friends. It keeps the Yosef love alive. It's Thursday, the 10th of July 2025, and the Karimli mansion kitchen is buzzing with warmth. Seher's teaching Yaman how to make her dad's favorite lamb stew, their hands brushing as they chop onions, laughter cutting through the tension. For a moment, it's like the world outside doesn't exist, but the peace is short-lived. Ziya's in his room, clutching an old photo, his mind racing with a shocking memory. Something about Kevser's death that doesn't add up. He's shaking, muttering to himself, and it's clear he's on the edge of another breakdown. Across town, Kiraz is fussing over Ali, who's looking worse for wear, his face drawn and tired. She's at Osman's, brewing him strong coffee, her voice gentle but firm. "You need to take care of yourself, Ali," she says, but he's too stubborn to listen. Back at the mansion, Sarah and Yaman's moment lingers, their eyes locking over the steaming pot. It's a small step, but it feels like a giant leap for Yaman's guarded heart. If you're enjoying this, drop a super thanks to show some love. It helps us keep the drama coming. As Friday, the 11th of July 2025 rolls in, Iqbal's nerves are shot. Ziya's muttering about that video he saw, something incriminating about Kevser's death, and she's terrified he'll blab. She's in her room, pacing, her perfectly manicured nails digging into her palms. She's got to keep him quiet, no matter what. Meanwhile, Ziya's locked himself in his study, replaying the grainy footage on his phone. It's a blurry clip of a heated argument, and he's convinced it holds the key to everything. He's shaking, his mind unraveling, and when Iqbal knocks, he nearly jumps out of his skin. Across town, Begum's on a mission to get Kiraz out of the picture. She corners her at the market, her voice low and venomous, warning Kiraz to stay away from Ali. Kiraz holds her ground, her eyes flashing, but Begum's not backing down. Back at the mansion, Seher's tucking Yosef in, her heart heavy. She knows something big is coming, and she's not sure she's ready. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss what happens next. It's Monday, the 14th of July 2025, and the search for Ziya is in full swing. He's vanished after his latest episode, and Iqbal's putting on a show, wringing her hands and crying to anyone who'll listen. But her eyes are calculating. She's more worried about what Ziya might say than where he is. Yaman's team is combing Antep, checking every alley and hideout, while Seher's beside herself, blaming herself for not keeping a closer eye on him. Meanwhile, Kiraz is at the crossroads. She's sitting on Osman's porch, staring at the stars, torn between staying in Antep or leaving to protect Ali from Begum's wrath. Osman finds her there, his voice gentle as he shares his own regrets about life and love. "Don't run from what's real, Kiraz," he says, and she nods, tears in her eyes. Farhat, meanwhile, pulls Osman aside, his voice low. "I've got a bad feeling about Begum," he says, and Osman's face hardens. They both know she's hiding something big. If you're hooked, let those ads play for 30 seconds. It helps us keep going. By Tuesday, the 15th of July 2025, there's a sigh of relief in the Karimli mansion. Ziya's been found, holed up in an old friend's flat, shaken but okay. Yaman pulls him into a tight hug, his voice rough with emotion. "Don't scare us like that again, Brew," he says as Ziya manages a weak smile. But the drama's far from over. Ali and Kiraz are out looking for Osman, who's gone AWOL after a cryptic phone call. They're wandering the winding streets of Antep, bickering like an old married couple when they realize they're lost. Kiraz laughs, but Ali's too stressed to see the humor. Back at the mansion, Farhat's on a mission, barking orders at his team to dig up proof that Begum's been lying about her past. He's got a hunch she's not who she says she is, and he's determined to prove it. Seher, meanwhile, is keeping Yosef close, reading him stories to distract him from the chaos. But her eyes keep drifting to Yaman and she wonders if he feels the same pull she does. Join our channel membership for exclusive Yosef content and behind-the-scenes goodies. It's Wednesday, the 16th of July 2025, and the Kirimli mansion kitchen is a battlefield. Zuhal's sabotaging Seher's cooking, accidentally knocking over a jar of spices into her stew. Seher's fuming, but she keeps her cool, stirring the pot with a tight smile. "You'll have to try harder than that, Zuhal," she mutters under her breath. Across town, Osman's back, sitting Ali down for a heart-to-heart. "I'm in your corner, my boy," he says, his eyes warm but firm. Ali nods, grateful, but his mind's still on Kiraz and Begum. Meanwhile, Firat and Ibrahim are like dogs with a bone, digging through old records and shady contacts to pin something on Begum. They're close to a breakthrough, their voices hushed as they pore over documents in a dimly lit cafe. Back at the mansion, Seher's serving up her stew and Yaman's actually smiling as he takes a bite. For a moment, it feels like home, but Zuhal's watching from the shadows, her jealousy burning brighter than ever. Please hit that like button and share this video, it keeps the Yosef love going strong. By Thursday, the 17th of July 2025, Yaman's distracted, his mind on Seher, even as he tries to focus on business. She's left for the day to help Selim at the restaurant, and the mansion feels empty without her laugh. He's pacing his office, papers forgotten, when Firat bursts in, his face lit with triumph. "We've got it, boss," he says, slapping a folder on the desk. Proof that Begum's been lying about her past, maybe even tied to Kevser's death. Yaman's eyes narrow, but he tells Firat to keep it quiet until they can tell Ali. Meanwhile, Zuhal's trying to make up for her kitchen stunt, offering Seher a half-hearted apology over tea. Seher's polite but guarded. She's not falling for Zuhal's act. As the sun sets, Yaman finds himself staring out the window, wondering why Seher's absence hits him so hard. It's a feeling he's not ready to name. If you're loving this drama, drop a super thanks to support the channel, it means a lot. It's Friday, the 18th of July 2025, and Iqbal's switching gears like a pro. Her latest plan to get rid of Seher's backfired, so she's huddled with Zuhal, plotting something new over coffee in the mansion's lounge. Their whispers are sharp, their eyes darting to make sure no one's listening. Meanwhile, Ali's had enough of Begum's games. He confronts her in a sleek apartment, his voice low and steady. "I know you've been lying, Begum," he says, and her face pales, but she tries to play it off with a laugh. Across town, Seher's laid up in bed after a nasty fall down the mansion stairs. She's bruised and sore, but Yosef's curled up beside her, his little hand in hers. Yaman's hovering, bringing her tea and checking on her every 5 minutes. It's sweet, but Seher's worried. Iqbal's up to something, and she's got a bad feeling it's about Yosef. The day ends with Seher drifting off, her dreams uneasy, while Iqbal's smirk grows in the shadows. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications for the next episode. Come Monday, the 21st of July 2025, Iqbal's on a mission to get Yosef out of the picture. She's in her room, scheming, her phone buzzing with cryptic messages from a contact labeled G. She's convinced getting rid of Yosef will clear the way for her to control Yaman. Meanwhile, Kiraz is wrestling with her conscience, sitting on Osman's porch with a glass of ribos, debating whether to tell Ali the truth about Begum's lies. She's scared it'll push him away for good, but she can't keep quiet much longer. Begum, sensing the walls closing in, corners Ali at a cafe, her voice desperate as she spins a story about being misunderstood. Ali's not buying it, his jaw tight as he walks away. Back at the mansion, Seher's still sore from her fall, but she's up, keeping Yosef close. She catches Iqbal whispering to Zuhal and knows something's off. The day ends with Seher tucking Yosef in, her heart heavy. She'll do anything to protect him. If you're hooked, let those ads play for 30 seconds. It helps us keep going. It's Tuesday, the 22nd of July 2025, and Ali's team is in the doghouse. They're apologizing for meddling in his business, and he's not having it. "Mind your own, brew," he snaps, his patience worn thin. They're in his office, heads bowed, as he lays down the law. Meanwhile, Iqbal's digging through an old trunk in the attic, pulling out Kevser's old diaries and photos. Her eyes gleam. She's found something she can use to stir up trouble. Across town, Begum's on a rampage, cornering Kiraz at the market and hissing threats. "Stay away from Ali or you'll regret it," she snarls, but Kiraz stands tall, her voice steady. "You don't scare me, Begum." Back at the mansion, Seher's keeping Yosef busy with a puzzle, but her mind's on Yaman. He's been different lately, softer, almost tender, and it's got her heart in a twist. The day ends with Iqbal slipping a photo under Yaman's door, her smirk wicked. Join our channel membership for exclusive Yosef content and more. By Wednesday, the 23rd of July 2025, Iqbal's plan is starting to take shape. She slipped Yaman a photo of Seher with Selim, hinting at something more than friendship, and Yaman's mood is darker than a winter's night. He's pacing the mansion, his mind racing, when Iqbal corners him with a favor. "Check on Seher's loyalties," she says, her voice dripping with fake concern. Meanwhile, Seher's struggling to stay awake, her pain pills making her groggy. She's in the lounge trying to read to Yosef, but her eyes keep drooping. Across town, Ali's still fuming at Kiraz, but he's starting to see through Begum's lies. He catches her in a slip-up at a dinner, her story about her past not adding up. Kiraz, meanwhile, is at Osman's, her heart heavy. She knows Ali's angry, but she's not giving up on him. The day ends, with Seher collapsing on the couch, Yosef's worried face the last thing she sees. Please hit that like button and share this video with your mates. It's Thursday, the 24th of July 2025, and the Kirimli mansion is in chaos. Yosef's gone missing. Seher's frantic, searching every room, her voice cracking as she calls his name. Iqbal's playing innocent, but her smug smile says it all. She's convinced her plan to get Yosef out of the way is working. Yaman's tearing through Antep, his men scouring every corner, his fear for Yosef eating him alive. Meanwhile, Ali's done with Begum. He meets her at a park, his voice cold. "There's no future for us, Begum," he says, and she storms off, her eyes blazing with rage. Back at the mansion, Seher finds a clue, a toy Yosef always carries, left in the garden. Her heart races. She knows he didn't leave willingly. As night falls, Yaman and Seher stand together, their fear for Yosef binding them closer than ever. Iqbal watches from the shadows, her plan unfolding perfectly. If you're loving this, drop a super thanks to show some love. As Friday, the 25th of July 2025 dawns, Seher's heart is breaking. Yosef's still missing, and she's clinging to hope, but then she hears it. A faint recording of Kevser's voice playing from Yosef's room. It's a lullaby, and it sends Yosef into a panic when they finally find him, hidden in a closet, trembling. Seher holds him tight, realizing he needs her more than ever. Iqbal's plan is in full swing. She's planted the recording to unsettle Yosef, hoping it'll push Seher to her breaking point. Meanwhile, Begum's not done causing trouble. She confronts Osman at his home, her voice venomous as she blames him for turning Ali against her. Osman's frail, his heart weak, and the argument pushes him over the edge. He collapses, clutching his chest. Kiraz rushes in, her scream echoing as she calls for help. The day ends with Yosef clinging to Seher, Osman fighting for his life, and Iqbal's smirk growing wider. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications for the next episode. It's Monday, the 28th of July 2025, and Seher's fighting tooth and nail to keep Yosef at the mansion. She's in the living room pleading with Yaman, her voice fierce. "He's not going anywhere, Yaman. He needs me." Yaman's torn, his love for Yosef warring with his fear of losing control. Meanwhile, Osman's in the hospital, hooked up to machines, and Kiraz is a wreck, blaming herself for his collapse. She's at his bedside, her hands clasped, whispering apologies. Ali's there too, his face drawn, guilt eating him alive for dragging Osman into his mess with Begum. Back at the mansion, Iqbal's playing her part, feigning concern for Yosef, but her eyes are cold. She's already planning her next move, whispering to Zuhal about social services. Ziya catches a snippet of their conversation and feels a chill. She knows Iqbal's up to no good. The day ends with Seher tucking Yosef in. Her resolve stronger than ever. If you're hooked, let those ads play for 30 seconds. It helps us keep going. By Tuesday, the 29th of July 2025, the worst has happened. Yosef's been taken to a shelter after a tip to social services. Seher's beside herself, tears streaming as she storms into the mansion, confronting Iqbal. "You did this, didn't you?" she shouts, but Iqbal's all innocence, her hands raised like she's got nothing to hide. Yaman's furious, his voice booming as he demands answers, but no one's talking. Meanwhile, Ali and Kiraz are reeling from Osman's death. They're at his house, sorting through his things, their grief raw and heavy. Kiraz finds an old photo of Osman with Ali as a boy, and they both break down, holding each other tight. Back at the shelter, Yosef's curled up on a cot, clutching his toy, his little face pale. Seher is fighting to get him back, but the system's slow, and her heart's breaking. Iqbal watches it all, her plan unfolding like clockwork. Join our channel membership for exclusive Yosef content and more. It's Wednesday, the 30th of July 2025, and Yaman's seeing red. Someone tipped off social services about Yosef, and he's convinced it's Selim trying to get back at him for Ziya. He storms into Selim's restaurant, his voice low and dangerous. "You crossed a line, Brew," he says, but Selim's genuinely shocked, swearing he'd never hurt Ziya like that. Meanwhile, it's Osman's funeral, and the air is thick with grief. Ali and Kiraz stand side by side, their hands brushing, finding comfort in each other. Kiraz's eyes are red, her guilt crushing, but Ali pulls her close, whispering, "He'd want us to keep fighting." Back at the mansion, Iqbal's working overtime to distract Yaman, dropping hints about a new business opportunity to keep his mind off Seher and Yosef. Seher's at the shelter, pleading with the social worker, her voice breaking as she fights for her nephew. The day ends with Yaman staring at a photo of Yosef, his resolve hardening. He'll get him back, no matter what. Please hit that like button and share this video with your friends. As Thursday, the 31st of July 2025 wraps up the month, Yaman's on a mission. He's still convinced Salim's behind the social services tip, and he's digging into his past, looking for proof. He's in his office, papers scattered, his face grim as he makes calls to his contacts. Meanwhile, Sultan, Iqbal's ally, is fed up with Kiraz. She corners her at Osman's old house, her voice sharp. "You don't belong here, Kiraz. Get out." Kiraz stands her ground, her eyes flashing, but she's shaken. Back at the shelter, Yosef's struggling without Seher. He's quiet, barely eating, his little hands clutching his toy as he stares out the window. Seher's there every day, fighting the red tape, but the social worker's firm. There's a process, and it's not moving fast. Yaman visits, his heart breaking as he sees Yosef so small and lost. As the sun sets, Seher and Yaman share a quiet moment outside the shelter. Their hands brushing, their shared fear for Yosef pulling them closer than ever. If you're loving this drama, drop a super thanks to support the channel. And there you have it, folks. The roller coaster that is Yosef this July 2025. Will Seher and Yaman get Yosef back? Is Iqbal's plan gonna blow up in her face? And what's gonna happen with Ali and Kiraz? Don't miss a single episode. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and share this video with your mates. If you love this recap, give us a like, let those ads play for at least 30 seconds, or drop a super thanks to keep the channel going. Better yet, join our channel membership for exclusive content and behind-the-scenes chats. Comment below with your predictions for what's next, and we'll see you for the next dose of Yosef drama. Stay tuned, and take care.